Discovering Junction Creek. Polluted Waters. A Junction Creek Stewardship Committee production.
In this video, we are going to learn how to be stewards for the water. So what exactly is a steward? It's a fancy word for someone who likes to take care of something. Have you ever taken care of something? Like an animal or pet, a little sister or brother, or your favorite toy? Well, it's the exact same thing for the creek. You just help it out. Did you know that most of the rain from all around Sudbury ends up in Junction Creek? That means that whatever that happens around the creek gets into the creek. Sometimes that's not good, like pollution. Pollution is bad for us and nature. But why? And why should we care? Pollution is anything that doesn't belong in the environment, that can hurt or harm people or the wildlife. Sometimes you can see pollution like trash or oil, but sometimes you can't see it at all. Somebody sprays fertilizer on their lawn, or if gas from cars leaks out into the ground. Do you think this is good for the creek to have trash, oil, and chemicals go into it and into whatever lives around the Junction Creek? What about plastics? When plastic enters the environment, it is harmful for animals and for us too. Some animals may actually die from ingesting or eating those plastics when they're just trying to survive and eat what they normally eat. Some of the fish in our creek in Sudbury have actually had plastic found in their stomachs. Would you like that to happen to you? How is plastic getting into the water? Whether on purpose or by accident, litter that is dropped on the ground somehow ends up into the creek. This can be from heavy winds or heavy rains, pushing everything back into the creek, even though we probably didn't mean to put it there in the first place. Litter and plastic waste are one of the most common forms of pollution that we find in Junction Creek. Did you know that over the last 20 years, over 85,000 kilograms of trash have been found in Junction Creek? That's over 5 school buses. Here's a picture of some of the litter we found in the creek. Pop cans that your favorite soda comes in, cardboard boxes that your toys come in, bottled water from lunch, styrofoam containers from takeout food, straws and takeout cups from fast food restaurants and coffee shops, plastic wrappers from your granola bars and candy, plastic bags from your shopping trip, and juice containers from your apple juice. How old are you? How old are your parents? How old do you think some of this plastic is that we end up finding in the creek? Plastic bottles, believe it or not, can take up to 450 years before disappearing. That's very old. Did you know plastic straws take 500 years? That's even older. How long do you think a plastic bag takes to break down? If you guessed 10 years, that's correct. Even though it's definitely less time than bottles and straws, it's still quite a while. Picking up litter with an adult is a great way to help out the environment and to help the Junction Creek. But how can we stop litter in the first place? It's an easy way to remember it with the 4 R's. Refuse. Say no to single-use plastics. Instead of wrapping your sandwich in plastic, try using a container. You can try and do the junk-free challenge at home with your parents. Reduce means use less plastics. And reuse. Whatever you have, use and use again. Make old things into new things by crafting or doing arts. And finally, recycle. Remember learning about recycling in school? Now that you have all the ideas on how to be a steward and how to reduce or take away plastic from the creek, you can go ahead and become your own steward for the water. In this video, we learned that pollutants are bad for the creek and plastic pollution is one of the biggest problems in the creek. We learned that plastic lasts a long time. We learned that plastics can hurt wildlife and people. And we learned that this is all happening right here in Junction Creek in Sudbury. We learned that we can be stewards. Remember that word? It means somebody who can help somebody or something out. So we can be stewards for Junction Creek. Learn more about how to keep waste out of the water by watching our videos and become a creek hero.